Well, well, welcome to the Cellar once again. Been gone for a couple of weeks. Guess I forgot how far I got to set up. This is numbered 100 because I've done more than that, but I only had 96 consecutively numbered, but there were like 5 or 6 others. So I decided I'd just call this one 100. And my video whiz, Benjamin, is going to be changing the way this looks, so I'll be as surprised as you when it happens. Number of things to talk about. Been a while. I haven't paid much attention to what's going on in Facebook. Don't care. First off, 2 weekends ago, where was I? AppleCon in Maine. You never been to Maine? Haven't seen much of Maine yet? Flew into Portland and was driven 30 miles east to, oh, now I'm going to blank on the name of the town. I'll keep talking about it because it was great, and then I'll tell you. Cornish, Maine, that's where it is, Cornish. What was special about it? Everything. First off, they put my wife and I up in a bed and breakfast along with many of the other couples guests that weren't from the area. And they had a marvelous kitchen. Almost, it was a commercial kitchen, flat iron and everything, flat top and everything. And you filled out the little cards and your breakfast, and when they see you come down, are you ready yet? Tell us when you are. And then they made it up. Wonderful. Most of the games were out in the great big barn that they repurposed on the property. Just a short meander from the building itself. Some of the games were in the building. Some of them were out and back underneath the awning, out in the great outdoors. I know that the organizers exceeded their expectations, and I know they've already planned one for next year, which will be 2 weeks later in the season, so the leaves will be better. And I'm pretty sure Cheryl and I are going to go again. We had a great time. Let's see, I taught 10 new people how to play Scythe. We had a great time. A couple of good beginning introductory, here's how it's done games. And I taught 4 people how to play Escape from Dulce, which was a lot of fun. And I want to thank the couple that bought the Scythe game so that there would be one to be played with, and then let me play it with the other game. Thanks again. He had a great panel truck, gray, ghosty looking, tombstones all over the panels of old deceased car makes. Rio, Pierce Arrow, some of the great ones. Great time at AppleCon. Especially if you live out that way. I really, really recommend it. Thanks again to Steve and Angie for driving all the way up from Rhode Island just to say hi. I was touched, and I got to play with Steve in some games, and that was great. And as some of you may have noticed, I've started giving out these little custom tokens that I had made for the participants in my game. Next con I'll be at is at Gamehole, and that's going to be on the weekend of Halloween. So hope to see you there. It should be a good time. Last weekend, pardon me. Last weekend, where was I? Back in the Quad Cities. That's Moline and Rock Island, Illinois, and Davenport and Bettendorf, Iowa. They live across the river from each other. My wife went back for a reunion for her nursing college. And to the loser store in Davenport, screw you. I reached out to you twice to come run a game, draw some people in, have a good time. I was just looking to play a game. It's not like I feed on the attention or anything. You lost out on an amazing ability or opportunity to draw a whole bunch of people in for a special night, because I would have been bringing swag. And so Loser Store in Davenport, the only brick and mortar store that sells games in the Quad Cities. So everybody in the Quad Cities that's listening to this, all 2 or 3 of you, you know who the Loser Store is. Sucks to be you. You blew it. Another problem. Well, another concern. And I do not, I'm not making excuses. I'm going to give you an explanation. This is mentioned that when you subscribe here, you get a set of dice. And you do that by my sponsor contacting you and with the information of what you need to do, so you can send him the address and give him, you basically, all we're asking you to do is pay for the postage. Well, my sponsor, who I also work with at Old Guard Games, has been totally focused on his son, who just had his lungs transplanted. So things have kind of gone by the wayside. Probably won't get my Kickstarter out before Halloween, and if not, then we'll probably wait till February. It's all finished, but family comes first. And so, not as an excuse, this is an explanation. Yeah, we've dropped the ball recently on that. We'll try to get it all cleared up when this passes. In the meantime, I just ask for your good thoughts and wishes and prayers and vibes and whatever floats your spiritual boat. Went to see a movie today. Came away thinking that Joaquin Phoenix is probably one of the greatest actors I've seen in my lifetime. He is astonishing. The Joker is astonishing. I am not a comics guy, as I've made clear on many occasions. So I didn't come in with any preconceived notions or expectations. I knew vaguely that the Joker was an arch villain, et cetera, and something had happened. And so I went with my good buddy Jim, and we went and saw it this afternoon, and it was mesmerizing. Brilliant film, little touches. I won't give you any spoilers. I'll say it was brilliantly done, because many of the excesses and fears of the 70s are here again today. And so they took all those and made a giant metaphor. Very, very, very good movie. Highly recommend it to anybody that's into the DC comic universe or is into the comics in general. They took a very interesting character and made him even more interesting. Not sympathetic. Okay, I got some weird questions here we're going to deal with tonight, and I'm going to remind you that to get this thing rolling again, I'm going to need more stuff to talk about. And oh, by the way, go to my website or my Facebook page and see the man that drew so much of the early art for me at Dragon Magazine and Little Wars Magazine and at TSR. I mean, he even drew up scrolls and presentations that we gave away at the Strategist Club banquet. My old junior college art teacher, who I went back and saw this weekend, had a wonderful couple-hour chat with. And once again, we promised to stay better in touch. I also made a movie for him that if it ever gets converted off the old 16 millimeter film that we shot it on, onto a CD, a disc, I will put it on YouTube. I've told him, I've threatened him with that. I'm going to outlive him so I can get in there and get it. Let's see. Whether it is there's a couple in here tonight that deal along this topic that I was talking about, inclusiveness and the social justice warriors going crazy over recent months. And so I'm going to read this. I like to read them as they come in, so you can appreciate my responses as much as I do. Whether it's the satanic panic stuff or today with the attitude that our games must be progressive and have consent checklists, or you are a bigot, it's all the same to me. I don't like to be told what to do and think, vice versa. Let people do what they want as long as they aren't hurting anyone. Yes. 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 That is the old, I apologize for the coughing. I'm readjusting from climate zones, and I popped a new cold today, lucky. There's another one here I want to find that says something about, it goes roughly along this. Okay, here we go. So strange to me to see so many people complain about this stuff. There's never anything keeping people from playing whatever they want. My games have always had players playing many different kinds of characters, skin, color, race, sexuality, etc. The only issue I've seen is individual DMs or players saying, you can't do that, or I can't do that because the book doesn't give that option. Okay. That brings up the raw rules as written people on the, oh, come on, let's do it. We've always encouraged. Now, I grant you, in the early days, there weren't women playing games of any kind to speak of. So it was tough finding women to play this game. But we always tried. And there was never a limitation. Early on, there was some silly, again, in the context of the day, there was some stuff about, golly gee, can women really be as impossibly strong men in fantasy? Is there a female Conan? And so there were limitations placed, but that was all cast aside years and years ago. It was always about be what you want. We got a shout out on Jeopardy a couple of nights ago. The returning champion was asked about her unusual hobby, and she probably proclaimed that yes, she did. She played a dwarven female warrior in D&D. We're here. We've made it. We're everywhere. Now people are worried about, are we socially just? Well, I got raked through a gravel pit naked after being tossed into a bramble pit for being a mansplainer a year and a half or so ago. Sorry. I don't do that anymore. I think. I don't know. It's ridiculous. The whole thing, come on, let's just play games again. Right? There's been some bad actors. There have been some inappropriate things said by several different people over the past few years. There's been some sketchy behavior. All those people know who they are, and they've been they've either cleaned up their act, or they've made it known they don't care to come back, or whatever. There's been a lot of miscommunications, a lot of false accusations, a lot of poorly thought out posts. Let's just get over all that. Let's go back to being gamers having fun gaming. When I go to Game Hole, I'm going to run a whole bunch of sessions of the Wheel of Blame, and I hope I have lots of females in there. Now, I say I hope I have females. I hope I have whatever floats your boat there. For me, being 70 and going on 71, I best identify two, males and females. What their orientation is, I don't give a damn. I go by appearance. Sorry, that's the way I was raised. But hey, everybody's welcome at my table. I don't care what floats your boat, as long as you act appropriately for the group as a whole, basically, don't be lewd and vulgar. If there's kids in the game, don't be vulgar, don't be lewd, unless you know that it's a grown-up game. And I've had a couple when we had a lot of fun. It never got vulgar. And whenever my game goes somewhere that somebody's uncomfortable with, they've been told beforehand to let us know, and I'll just turn the corner and go a different direction, and it's all good. So let's get back to that. Let's get back to playing games with whoever wants to play. All right, now here, this was one I got to put my glasses on so that you know it's not my bad eyesight. Yep, there's the hiccups. Right on time. Old white guy. This is him identifying himself. They call me Shift 7. All right, and then that smiley thing on its side. Charisma can be corrupted by celebrity? So you are saying minis never really replaced dolls and toys until toys got smaller? Laugh out loud. Now, this is a quote. To make D&D more attractive to females, the monster minis needed to be cast out of chocolate. When your PC kills a monster, you get to eat it. Candy is dandy. Parentheses, Ogden quote, unfinished, smiley thing again. Now, that's, hey, I eat chocolate too, and if it's dark chocolate, I'll fight to kill it. It's not a chick thing, or it's not a female thing. This guy would say that. Candy is dandy. Yeah. People should bless you for burps, not just sneezes. Well, the habit of blessing you came from sneezes because the Germanic peoples in Northern Europe thought that when you sneezed, you were coughing out an evil spirit or a demon or a devil or whatever. And so Gesundheit, God bless you, now having coughed out the demon, they were re-sanctifying you, so to speak. Maybe not for farts yet, though, but we're working on making the fart no longer a monster, but a neutral NPC shopkeeper. This must be an interesting campaign to plan. Now we change subject. I have a clear bowling ball that my parents won in 1969. Oh, I was in Vietnam that year. And it's transparent red. There are many clear bowling balls with objects inside. I brought it up to Wally DM and the Mighty Glue Stick YouTube channels. Wally does puzzles and Glue Stick does lore. Okay. Never heard of them. They like it. But I think that dice bowling balls, the D20 bowling ball, would be a hit. I don't know if you've seen bowling balls recently. Half the people haul in 4 or more bowling balls. I'd roll a D12 because that's my favorite damage die. Plus, bowlers are superstitious anyway, and the psych-out factor of a certain number on the ball return would be priceless. You are familiar with stuff that is business. Maybe one of your people would make a few pennies on such a design. Okay, now Curmudgeon White YouTube is getting a facelift. Smiley face thing on its side. Sudafed for breathing, by the way. I really enjoy your show. Shift 7 on the keyboard is the ampersand. That was just fun reading it again. Where do we go? Okay, now the bowling ball. Let's think about this a minute, the bowling ball. The bowling ball, to have any relevance on what number came up, would have to be, the design would have to cover the ball. So that one face would clearly be on the up when it rolls up the and stops when it bonks into the other balls. Now the question remains, where do you put the holes if you have a bowling ball that has holes? See, many people use this just grab the ball. My hands never be big enough for that. They just grab the ball and sling it down there with amazing accuracy. or the one finger balls. I'm astonished. I can't pull anyway anymore because my ankle's gone. But anyway, so you'd have to decide, where do you want to put your finger or grip? The one, so the 20's heading down the lane in the lead, or do you want to drill the 20 so it's always a critical hit in the pocket? Or if you take the other man's 12, where do you put it? Oh. But I like the idea of having the wrong number come up and somebody go, whoa! Gotta admit, I like that idea. Okay, on to something that makes a little more gaming sense, I hope. Okay, this is about the person that was charging money to get better shit in a game. Game horror. Never thought about selling service. Oh, this is also about being paid to be a dungeon master. Okay. Oh, well, I'd like to be a game whore by this definition. Get paid to run games? Hell yes, I do. I am a game whore. I get comped and flown and fed to game conventions so that I'll run games so that people come play in them and they'll all have fun. That makes me a big game whore. And I'm in good company, too, with all the other great guys that used to come to run cons that are now passed. Never thought about selling services as a dungeon master. The game wasn't meant for that, but nevertheless, it's good if that's how you model your game sessions. Many good storytellers out there that can pull it off, and the only requirement that I, as a player, would have is that you do it well. Paying for rewards would be too much to ask for. Yeah, that is what several modern video game publishers do with loot boxes. Yes, I agree with your suggestion. Find another group. Okay. That one kind of hopped around a bit. So we hit a couple things. I don't have a problem with people charging money to run a game. This is truly a case of quality will tell. And if they aren't any good, people aren't going to go back. Yesterday, I was in the vape store returning a defective vape for a new one. And the guy saw my T-shirt, it's this one. Never underestimate an old man who plays D&D with a D20 in the middle. And I guess you didn't see that. Oh, you still can't see it. Well, too bad. Maybe I'll stand up and show it to you at the end of the show. Anyway, he says, yeah, I want to learn how to play that game. And here we are in Cincinnati, who've got no good local cons to speak of once a year, but it's up in Butler County. There was a small Cincy Con when I was out of town, but it was limited to 100 people. The Cincy Con people that used to do Cincy Con and Lexicon apparently couldn't make any money on it. Was small wonder they charged too way damn much. But yeah, I'd like to. I've been asked to go talk to a private school, I think it's a K-8 elementary, about the possibility of setting up a club. And some friends of mine know the school and have gone. Anyway, I said, surely, I'd be glad to do something like that. So we'll see where that goes. Now, this comment came from, this is somebody obviously catching up, because it came in recently, but it's all in number 75, which is 6 months ago. Need to get out of the basement and get laid. Losing the Civil War hat wouldn't hurt either. Well, the first part about getting out of the basement and getting laid. I have a furnished basement with lots of nice furniture. And I have a wife that I'm extremely happy with for going on 50 years next July. So that's something I certainly have to run by her, that advice. And even if I were to run it by her, I don't think it would go over. And the hat, no, I've explained before why I wear this kepi. It allows me to not get blinded, but you can still see my eyes when I tilt down to read. And I'm told that's a good thing, seeing my eyes. God only knows why. They're old and baggy. But they still work real good because they got new lenses. All right, let's see what's next here on the list. But anyway, thanks for the advice. Pay to win. Never thought I'd hear that in a role-playing scenario. Thought Monty Hall was bad. Well, okay, I'll keep reading. Then I'm going to go back to Monty. Video game developers' tactics. Microtransactions spilling over into D&D. Jeez. Okay. Well, Monty Hall was always meant to be a parody. Monty Hall was always a parody. When I first started publishing Monty Hall, it was in Strategic Review, and it was supposed to be all the things you didn't do in the real game. It was Jolly might not appreciate the comparison, but it did then. What we tried to do then is what Jolly does with the Knights of the Dinner Table. We poke fun at the foibles of ourselves. And so that's not fair to Jim and Monty Hall, because that's one of Jim's neat spur of the moment, spontaneous phrase construction things that still plays. Microtransactions. Yeah, I can see that, and that sucks. I don't like that at all. Okay, well, that brings me to the end of the list, and just about the end of the time. Now, supposedly, I've been told that this is going to be put together differently than it has been before. So I hope that's the case. And I don't know what that means is coming up next. But give me some loving, give me something to talk about, and look in more often. The number of subscribers is nice, but I'd like to get the views. Even if you look in for 5 or 10 minutes and figure I'm full of crap that week, give it a look. I'm not going to monetize it. I'm not going to have an undergarment for leaky bladders and break in the middle of something or over. No, never going to happen. Never going to happen. So on that promise, I'll say, see you next time. Do-do-do-gabi. Oh, hello. I'm still figuring out when this thing starts. Welcome to my cellar.
He's the curmudgeon who wrote about the dungeons. Now he's the feller, live from the cellar. Talks about D&D and old school RPGs. Still quite a feller, the curmudgeon in the cellar.
Last man around when them rates went down. Calling Gary in that Lake Geneva town. Hey Gary, it's an awful mess. Let me edit, we'll have success. D&D and Dragon Magazine.
He's the curmudgeon who wrote about the dungeons. Now he's the feller, live from the cellar. Talks about D&D and old school RPGs, but he's still quite the feller, the curmudgeon in the cellar.
Magic missile, it's a mortar shell. Make it hit in the first level spell. Brought psionics to the game to attack that wizard brain. DSR and fantasy, collection of micro armory. Tight with tramp under a tree, high as could be. He's the curmudgeon who wrote about the dungeons. Now he's the feller, live from the cellar. Talks about D&D and old school RPGs, but he's still quite the feller, the curmudgeon in the cellar. Still quite the feller, the curmudgeon in the cellar. Curmudgeon.